Cool. I'm just gonna get my glasses. Today we're gonna have the lovely Greg Benson on, whoop whoop, and who'll be joining in just a second, hopefully. Yeah, I'll just be getting my glasses. 2 seconds. Jonas. Nice to see some people logging in. We're just going to wait a couple of minutes. We're going to wait for Greg to join, and then we'll kick off. Hey sis. Just be starting in a couple of minutes. Thank you. It's a lovely t-shirt. I got it from my sisters for my birthday, along with most of the nice t-shirts I own, because it's better to listen to your sisters when it comes to fashion advice. Hi Brian, how are you? I've been very much enjoying all your flair videos. Mike was saying how he got asked to do that one for Singapore bartenders, and it's just pretty cool to see all the sort of little videos everyone's popping up with all across hospitality. Obviously, I assume most people saw the one with, I think it was Tom Dyer maybe, and that was, I think it was something like over almost 100 countries, with just a bunch of bartenders just doing some cool stuff. So hope along with logging into this, you've been logging in to check out my pals all across Southeast Asia, the rest of the Cardi team, as well as for the rest of like Africa and the Middle East. We've got Varia doing some cool stuff, and Ollie's been setting up some really cool Zoom chats with some leading men and ladies of the industry, which has been really cool. We're just going to wait a couple of minutes. We're waiting on the wonderful Greg. It says he's online, but he's yet to join. Maybe he's just getting something sorted. I'm going to introduce you, and for those of you that haven't met Greg, to Greg. He's our India brand ambassador, and then we're going to make some drinks, kind of a head-to-head, and then afterwards we're going to take some nice pictures of the drinks and pop them up on our Instagram stories, and we'll get some votes to see who wins. All my drinks are quite simple. My drink's going to be inspired by my region of Southeast Asia, out here in Thailand at the moment. And Greg is looking after India, so he's going to have some India-inspired drinks. I already know one of the drinks he's going to be doing, and it's going to be absolutely banging. Greg, you want to send a join invite? How does this work? Here we go. Oh, you declined, Greg. That's not very nice. There we go. Bad. It's the first time I've gone live with someone else, so fingers crossed. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Dan. Hello. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. If you just give me 2 wee seconds, I need to get some books to prop my phone up, otherwise
No worries, man.
it will fall over and smash.
No worries. Greg's been having technical difficulties all morning with his phone, so he messaged me being like, can you make sure everyone knows because my phone's a bit broken. So hopefully all goes okay.
Fantastic.
Issue with doing any of these live sort of videos is the fact that you're relying on technology, and unless you're technically minded, which I am not overly, they can be an absolute disaster. But Haven't had
Yeah.
anything go terribly yet.
But we're here.
We're here.
We're here.
Uh,
We're here. Look at us now. Look at us now. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I thought that was an old school Scotland football top there for a second.
No, I was wearing a really old school Ireland rugby top, but I
Yeah.
decided that that wouldn't be very on brand or on the fact I'm not Irish, so swapped it up.
Nice. Yeah.
Got to the birthday present. But Greg, for everyone that's chiming in, would you be able to just introduce yourself, let them know who you are, what you do, where you come from?
Yeah, fantastic. Hello. So, as you might be able to tell by my dulcet accent, I am also Scottish. Basically, I'm the Indian version of Daniel, in that I am the Dewar's brand ambassador for India. So, I'm from Scotland originally. I'm from Glasgow, the biggest and best city in Scotland. But I used to live in Aberdeen, so I was working as a bartender for years and also as a distiller as well. But then the opportunity came up to move to India. So I live in a city called Gurgaon, which is just outside of Delhi. So it's pretty much Delhi for people that don't live in India, but it's good. Yeah, so I've been here about 6 months now.
So what's the bar scene like in Gagan and Delhi? Is it quite up and coming, quite new still?
I would say it's kind of a bit of both. You have some kind of established bars. You have a few which are really, really good. For example, Cocktails and Dreams, Sidecar. A lot of hotel bars are very, very good. Some rooftop bars in, say, like Cirrus 9, which is in the Oberoi, which is like five star. Really,
Class.
really good bar. Uh, and then on the other hand, you have what's known as like quarter bars, which are a bit more kind of cheap and cheerful, where it's maybe just simple drinks.
Yeah.
But the big thing that kind of sets Indian bars and the bar scene different from where I've seen all around the world is the prevalence of food in bars as well. That's a very, very common and expected part of the drinking culture as well.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily find, say, just a cocktail bar.
Okay.
You would find a cocktail bar which would always have a kitchen as well, which is something that I'm not really used to from kind of Scottish drinking culture.
Yeah, the UK generally, and really quite a lot of Europe, if they have any form of food, it's very, very limited. And it's, if they're a cocktail bar, they're a cocktail bar. And okay, the hotel bars, will have like options, but they're not like, that's not what you go to the bar for. And a little bit same here in Southeast Asia. There's quite a lot of bars that do food quite late into the night. I was in the Philippines at the beginning of March, and it must have been half 1, 2 in the morning, and we're sitting having a drink. And they were like, "Oh, do you want some food?" I was like, "Oh yeah, maybe just some chips or something." Like, you can have anything. Like, the whole kitchen's open. I was like, "Yes," which is pretty cool. And for somebody who likes to eat, that's absolute dream.
Yeah, because
Right,
that's kind of
I
a
will kick us off. No, go.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of a difference from the UK as well, because a lot of places that I've worked that did offer food, they only offered like chips and dips and fries, just only for like a legal standpoint, so they could have a license. Whereas here, it's more like it's like just ingrained in the culture. Yeah.
So, there's a question. Hey, Greg, you like Barca?
So Barca, we get on well. She's a nice person. So Barca Singh, she's kind of Bollywood, and I first met Barca when we did You Got Chefed, which you should, for those coming from like a Southeast Asia like audience, you should watch You Got Chefed on YouTube. It's kind of a cooking show with Ranveer Brar, who hosts MasterChef here in India, and they get a celebrity guest in, and then I make cocktails as well. So we did an Instagram live last week, earlier in the week. I don't know, the days are just going into one. Where she taught me some Indian cooking and I taught her the highball.
Awesome. Cool. Right, I'll kick us off because it's 3 o'clock here in Thailand and it's Friday, so we've got a wee staff call at 5, I think. So nothing like starting off the day. So I'm going to start off. Both of my drinks are going to be highballs. So I'm going to start off with a bit of Dewar's White Label. 30 mils into the glass. It's just, both these drinks are going to be built just for ease of service. And then this is actually just going to be topped with this little concoction. It's actually just coconut milk, coconut water, and I've just seen the last question. Coconut milk, coconut water, and fresh mangoes. So here in Thailand, I don't know what it's like in India, but everywhere that you walk down the streets, even now with lockdown, there's still food stalls, there's still sort of like street hawkers. And right outside my flat, there is somebody that sells like fresh coconuts, fresh apples, fresh pineapples, fresh mangoes. So in the morning, I like to get up and I go, so it's all fresh juice. So I did this and it's just all blitzed together, left in the fridge for an hour. And it's absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to top most of that way. And then add.
So is it just kind of equal parts or?
Yeah, so it's equal. So it's done by weight, just for like simplicity. So it's equal parts fresh green mango, coconut milk, and coconut water. Super easy, and then just blitz together in. It's essentially a NutriBullet, except it only cost me about $10. So I have absolutely no complaints. So I just blitzed it together and left it in the fridge. Not only that on its own is absolutely delicious, but you can obviously mix it in cocktails as well. So I like to use it in the place of maybe using like a tea or a soda, just as a lengthener, and then using a little bit of citrus as well. So the final point that we do have actually in it is, so we've got equal parts of everything else. So say that's 10, 10, 10, and then we've got 1 part of maple syrup. And the maple syrup just aligns really nicely with the sort of more oaky notes of the whiskey, and the sugar helps sort of like blend all those flavors together. Just a wee stir.
Do you get a lot of maple syrup in Thailand? Is that important?
And you can buy it. It was really expensive. I bought golden syrup just for like pancakes, and then somebody messaged me like, I hope that's maple syrup. And I was like, it would be so much better. So the next time I go in, I'm going to, I'm actually going to pick up some honey. I've just ordered some delicious Thai honey from northern Thailand. So that'll probably be my next sweetness alternative. So I'm just going to add.
Yeah, simple goes with Dewar's really well. Honey.
Exactly.
On brand.
After, not next week, the week after, we're going to go and we're going to do a little bit of Aberfeldy on top and do barrels and bees. So it'll be cool.
Nice.
So that's my first drink. Greg, if you want to take it away.
Oh, right, we're flying through this. So, right, you never told me you were doing a mango drink, because I also have a mango drink. But you know what? I'll do the mango drink second so that we can split it up. So the first drink that I am making, usually it's a shaken drink, but again, just for ease of it's a Friday and I'm just myself, I'm just going to be building this. So this is the Calcutta Highball. So this is a drink that quite often I put on menus for quite often I put this on menus for guest shifts and things like this, and it works really well. It's quite a simple drink, but it's absolutely delicious. So as you know, Calcutta Highball, this kind of weaves together the two stories, the story of Tommy Dewar going around the world and also the highball as well. So I know that you'll know this, but I'll just say for the audience,
Yeah,
Tommy
crack on.
Dewar was one of the sons of the founders of Dewar's, and in his early 20s, he travelled all around the world to 26 different countries. When he was there, he actually opened an office in Calcutta in the east of India. And also when he was on that trip, when he was in New York, he was the pioneer of the highball drink, so whiskey served long. So this kind of takes those two ideas and puts them together. So
Awesome.
like all highballs, I'm going to be serving this long, and I'm just going to have a bit of acidity. So I've got some, it's called nimbu here, but it's not it's kind of halfway between a lemon and a lime.
Okay.
Nimbu. So if any Indians in the chat could tell us exactly the difference, this is called a lemon here, even though it's green. But I just call it nimbu because yeah.
So it's a bit like for those of you guys that maybe like old historic cocktails, when you read old drinks recipes from especially South America, like the confusion between lemon and lime and like what's what really annoys a lot of like cocktail nerds, because it will say lemon but it'll mean what we would call a lime. I know a pisco sour is like one of them, and like daiquiris and mojitos, everyone gets their knickers in a twist over whether it's a lemon or whether it's a lime, and the answer is like that. It's probably neither, really.
Yeah, you have quite. One of the things I like about India is they have so much variety of citrus, which you'll also see on the next drink as well. For example, there's a type of lime which I'd never even heard about before I arrived here, called the Gonjaraj. So the Gonjaraj is not a million miles away from a Rangpur lime, but it only grows really in Bengal, so kind of towards Calcutta, east of India. Something to do with like the soil and the chalk content, but it is ridiculous. It's just, imagine a lime but just amplified. And
really?
The skin is amazing.
Awesome.
It's like super vibrant, and it's pretty big as well. They do them in the east, and then they also do them in South India, but they don't grow in South India, so they have to import them from South India. So basically, I've just squeezed like a full nimbu in here. It's got some seeds in there, but I'll get over it. So then for that kind of India Calcutta connection, I've made this. I don't have any of those fancy glass bottles like you.
These are actually just soda water bottles. That's just stripped.
Yeah. So what I've done here is I've just made a sugar syrup just with cinnamon, ginger, and cardamom. So just muddle all those up, break them up, grate the fresh ginger, skin and everything. You kind of just eyeball it. So you just do lots and heat that on a pan just for anywhere between 15. Do it until it's cooked. 15 minutes to 35 minutes on like a low heat, just for how strong you want it. Take that off the heat, let it cool, and then strain. So this is just ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom. So
what do you use to strain? Just like a colander, or
I've got like a tea strainer, like an actual good tea strainer. I make chai a lot, so I make masala chai every day. So I actually just use my tea strainer for tea. First time in my life being a bartender that I used a tea strainer for tea was when I came to India. So again, I'm just going to add about 20 mils of this syrup here. Easy. And then I'm going to be using Dewar's 12 for this one. Just, I've got the white label as well for the second drink, but the kind of like the richer cask vanilla, toffee, honey, kind of marmalade flavors go really well with the cardamom, ginger, and cinnamon.
That pour. Never forget it.
Now, yeah. Remember where I came from, you know. So, and then I'm just going to top that all the way up with ice. Normally this drink, as I was saying, would be shaken, but just for ease of service and ease of the video. And also I don't actually have that much ice because it melts very, very quickly.
What's the weather like?
It's hot. Today it's 37, 38 degrees.
Pretty hot.
Yeah, pretty hot. Luckily, the market I go to is just like 5 minutes away. So,
still, I got caught on my way this morning to pick up my fruit. I literally, where I go to get my stuff is maybe 90 seconds away from my front door. And while I was inside, I looked out and it was just thunder and lightning. And I got back here and it was actually like spooking me every time I was like sitting on my laptop and I was like jumping at the absolute rapturous sounds of really, really loud thunder. So thankfully it's cleared up and we're back to sun, and similar here, it'll be 34, 35 degrees. So thankfully it warms up quite quickly.
Yeah. So what I'm doing just for this one, just for a bit of length, I'm just putting some soda in that, but you can lengthen it with really anything. Ginger ale, limca, which is like an Indian soft drink, even tonic if I don't have anything else. And then just to garnish, I'm just going to add just a slice of lime. Very simple.
What sort of lime?
Nimbu.
So probably one of the reasons that me and Greg, me and Greg are talking so much about things like citrus and exotic fruits is because in Scotland, unless it's a berry, it doesn't really grow unless it's
nothing.
Strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. That's it.
Yeah, bramble. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless it's one of those, we don't really get it. So all of the citrus that we're ever used to using is all imported. So it's pretty cool to come over here and walk into a market and see all this fresh fruit that is from just a couple of miles away. I actually didn't mention one of the reasons that I've put all these ingredients together. It's a little celebration of Thailand's probably most famous dessert, which is mango sticky rice. So it's like fresh mango and then like coconut glutinous rice. So you like make the rice and then you add like coconut milk and coconut cream and stuff and just let it it's amazing. When you come visit, we'll definitely be having some because it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah. I'm excited. So someone's asking, you've got a question asking about how Bangkok is. Mr. Highballer, Bangkok good now. So I think you're asking maybe about the weather or like
the weather's good. Bangkok itself is okay. The lockdown, the alcohol ban's been extended until the 30th, which is a bit annoying. Not that anyone's really going out drinking. It's more just, it's that classic example, you might not go to a bar for a month, but it's really annoying to be told you can't go. So it's the same idea, I have some whiskey in, I have some beer in, but the minute they tell me that I can't get any more, I'm a little bit like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? But yeah, Bangkok's okay. What's the lockdown like in India for you? I know it's different all across India, but
so it's quite strict. There's again an alcohol ban, so all the bars, restaurants are shut as well, and it's essentially non-essential shops are shut. 2 minutes, I'm getting knocked in my door.
That's all right. I'll chat. If you're coming as soon as possible, Bangkok's great. I think we'll probably be on the earlier end of lifting things like lockdown. Obviously, nothing guaranteed yet. Internal flights in Thailand are expected to start on the 1st of May, so I know that Hanoi has already started to lift some of its regulations. So yeah, hopefully Bangkok will be back to normal
Yes.
soon. The bar scene, the food scene, the drink scene, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, lockdown here is pretty strict. So only really essential shops are open. So fruit and veg shops, meat shops, pharmacies, some kind of delivery for food is um, still going on, but kind of all public transport has been stopped.
Oh really?
All taxis, all Ubers,
Yeah.
all that is all alcohol shops. They've all been kind of shut down.
Yeah.
The
Is
provisional
that
date is May the 3rd, which is
okay?
hopefully going to at
That's not
least
too bad.
start to ease up. But yeah,
Cool. I'll knock on to my second drink. More of a highball style, I guess. They're both really built and long, but this is just, I guess, in the highball glass. What I've actually got here is it's a mixture between just like a syrup and a juice, I guess. It is what they call Thai orange here, which for all intents and purposes is a bit more like a clementine or like a satsuma,
right.
like a segmented orange that you sort of peel away. But it's a little bit drier and it's just really, really tasty. So I've got that mixed in with glangal, which is a type of, it's not a type of ginger, but if you are to feel it, look at it, and smell it without knowing what it was, your first guess would be ginger. So it's got that little like sort of like dry heat that you expect from ginger without it being like spicy. So there's a little bit of that in there as well. And then a little bit of fresh green chilies. And smelling it, I think maybe I put in more chilies than I intended to, because it's pretty punchy and spicy. But yeah, it smells delicious. So it's just a mixture of that classic like sweet and fruity. So we're gonna make like a Collins style drink, but just with that little bit of spice. In Thailand, as far as spice goes, it could be anywhere from like none to really, 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 really spicy. The difference between the north and south is quite big. So the north is much milder, where the south is very spicy. So Bangkok here in the center kind of has all those different spectrums, as well as like appealing to tourists. So if you don't like spicy food and you come to Bangkok, do say no spice. Don't say a little spice, because sometimes a little spice is way more than you intend for it to be. I think maybe my second day on the job, I went to lunch with Kai and T, who used to work with us, and we're sitting there, and I was like, I'll have anything. I'm easy Ozzy, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like eating away. I'm like, I need some water. So it can be quite spicy. So I'm gonna add 30 mil. I've got 30 mils of Dewar's 15. It's a little bit more floral, but it kind of has a little bit more of that spice notes as well. 30 mils of the delicious like syrupy juice. I say syrup because it does have sugar in it, but that's more just to sort of keep it going a little bit longer, to add the shelf life. It's not overly sweet. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of more like a cordial. Wouldn't call it a syrup for the fact it's not sweet. It's like spicy and it is sweet. So yeah, I'm just gonna add that, and then that's 10 mils of lemon juice, and then I'm just gonna top it with soda. So we've got a nice sort of classic whiskey highball. I think this is a real perfect example of how whiskey highballs are so good, because you take a really classic recipe, a really classic style, and you can add one or two ingredients, and you've got, just by appearance, you've got an entirely different drink, but by flavor as well. You, instead of just getting like a little bit of bubbles and that nice oaky like citrus characteristics you might get from Dewar's, you're also going to have some really, really strong spice notes, and just delicious.
Nice.
And then I'm going to add just a slice of lemon, just for on the sort of nose. It's just going to add a little bit of like floral notes and a little bit of acidity as well on the bite.
Nice.
I'm going to take away your mango drink, unfortunately.
We're fired. Well, we're firing through the drinks. I was going to say, before I go the last drink, if anyone has any questions, just fire them into the chat, and then we can do our, So as you were saying, like galangal is quite similar to ginger. I think I once accidentally made galangal syrup instead of ginger syrup because I was doing a guest shift in one of the hotels in Delhi, and I asked for ginger and they didn't have any. They were like, "Oh, we've got Thai ginger," and so I made the syrup. It's quite dry, like actual, like physical dry. It's not as moist as
It's super. Actually, I'll have some just over here. I'll get some just to show.
Hello, Harish. Harish is in the chat.
So there are 4 different types of galangal, but this is the kind that you mainly get in Thailand. It looks like a ginger. It's a little bit thinner. They sort of come in like a bunch, almost like with tentacles. Yeah. I know that's a really weird description, but they sort of come like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not actually part of the ginger family, which is like mind-boggling to me. They've got their own little family, and you get different types of galangal, but the ones you mainly get in Thailand are those sort of long, thin. They're really tasty. I use them in place of ginger for the main point is they're quite similar and it's cheaper over here. So making things like soups and stuff, or obviously syrups, you'd absolutely get away with it. So you'd be fine.
Yeah, ginger's so cheap here compared to the UK. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
A kilogram's about 180 rupees. So a kilogram of fresh ginger is then be about $2.5, $3 a kilogram. And it's ridiculous.
There are a few things over here that you sort of get hit by that. You walk up to a stall and you're like, "Oh, can I get this?" And then they're like, "Oh, 15," and I'm like, "Okay, that's like 40. Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's fine." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. I drop it, and you walk away with however much like citrus or tomatoes or just anything really, and you're like, "That should not be that cheap." We don't seem to have any questions yet. Hopefully, people are just loving our chat.
So Harish said hello. So yeah, speaking of things being incredibly affordable, like the big thing here, as you said, was mangoes for Thailand, but in India it's even more ridiculous. They have literally hundreds of varieties of mangoes. So this here that I'm using is called the Alfonso mango, which it's my favorite. It's the best. Like you can get a kilogram of this for, I think I paid 190 rupees. So a kilogram of mango is like £2.
Do you get
a big thing?
Do you get durian?
Not that I've seen so far. No, we get a lot of papaya and guava, but not durian.
When you come over
here, big thing here is mango lassi. So, it's lassi is essentially like a yogurt kind of curd style drink that's very, very refreshing. For most of the year, you get it in either sweet or salty. So I like sweet lassi. But in the summer, you start to get more fruits come in. The rest of the time, it's like cardamom or say saffron is like a garnish. But mangoes here are ridiculous. Like they're the best in the world, essentially. So a big drink here is mango lassi, which you have it with meals or after a meal. So this drink essentially is a highball version of mango lassi. So essentially I'm just going to make a twist on a mango lassi and then put some whiskey in. So this here I've just got some mango pulp. This is just really, really easy to make. I just got a mango, scooped it out, and stirred it with a fork. Literally, it's not from a tin. It's not from a tin or a packet or anything. It's literally just half a mango. So I'm going to just go three. I'm just going to 3 or 4 just big spoons of mango. Yeah. It smells amazing. Then the next thing for lassi is you need some form of like yogurt, kind of curd, dairy product. Oh, the real Pizza Hut. So the real Pizza Hut, I'll just say hello. That is Pete, who I went to university with when I studied distilling. Hello, Pete. So this here is an ingredient called dahi. So dahi is, I think it's like curd. So it's like a yogurt. It's slightly sour citrus, not sour citrus, sour dairy. So it's curd. It's used in a lot of Indian cooking. Quite often, like say biryanis will have some form of like curd as a side dish. And it's kind of like a common accompaniment. So, and it's just, everything here is just sold in packs because it's a lot more kind of eco-friendly.
Yeah, that is one of the things that has sort of gotten me over here is, you know, there doesn't seem to be much appreciation for, especially like supermarkets and stuff and food vendors for like eco-friendly, but you know, it'll get there.
So I'm just going to do squirt. So essentially I'm going to be going kind of the volume of mango to just slightly less of the volume of the curd. So again, it's quite a forgiving, quite an easy drink to make
at home.
So then, see, the mango's quite thick, and obviously the dairy is quite thick as well. So I'm just going to add just a splash of water just to thin it out.
Yeah.
Just a tick wee bit. And for a bit of kind of citrus, where we're talking about different types of citrus again and how it's different around the world, this here is called a Mozambi. So Mosambi. Yeah. So quite often words are spelled in English very, very different ways because they're obviously all translated. So it's kind of halfway between a lemon and a lime. It's called like a sweet lime. And so it's kind of a slightly sour orange taste.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go half that. See the inside. See, it's not, this one's not that ripe, but usually they're a wee bit of a stronger color. I'm going to take some of the seeds out.
I think with making things like a lot of highballs and a lot of like maybe lasses, like you're saying, it's like you said, when you say forgiving, you know, if you know you add 30 mils and it's too little or 30 mils and it's too much, you know, you can just sort of like tweak a little bit as you go, as opposed to, you know, maybe old fashions and especially like
I mean, there's so easy. Like I'm just getting seeds. So I'm literally just going to give just a slight squeeze of this kind of orange, slightly sour orange, and just depending on your mangoes and your fruit, you might need a bit of sweetness. I taste this mango, it's slightly on the sour side, so I'm just going to add just a tiny bit of sugar, just not really to make it sweet, just to balance everything out. I'm just going to give that a stir just to incorporate everything. I'll see if you can see that. Nah, you can't. I don't want to tip it too far forward or else it will...
Disaster.
Yeah.
Just while Greg's stirring, and thank you everyone that's still on and everyone that joined up until now. All of these videos will be posted on the Bacardi Masterclass YouTube page, so you can check us back out on there if you maybe have joined a bit late. This will obviously be on my story for the next 24 hours. But after that, it'll be uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. So don't feel like, oh no, I've joined it, that's it. You can, if you want a link to the page, you can go on my page or just message me and I can send you any videos directly. You know, as long as you guys are interested and as long as you guys are learning.
Yeah. And now that this is mixed, I'm just going to add a large of Dewar's white label. So because the mango and the dairy and with the citrus as well, so I need a kind of stronger taste, like it cuts through those flavors. Yep. And then I'm just going to add some ice and stir just to chill down. See, usually for this I would throw it, but again, ease of service. Yeah.
Also, just so you know, guys, everyone, Greg's using a tin here, but you know, if he had a jar or just a jug or anything like that, as long as it can hold the liquid, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Obviously, for none of these drinks, nobody's shaken. But as well, if you're looking for something to shake, you can actually check out again the Bacardi Masterclass YouTube page where the lovely Mitchell Kai Lum has done a talk. He actually did it for us as Bacardi staff on using lots of different equipment to shake everything from Tupperware boxes, like takeaway boxes, to mason jars, to water bottles. That's become kind of one of the easy ones for everyone to use. So yeah, check it out. Don't feel like you don't have a tin and a strainer and all the fancy equipment. You don't really need any of that. For us that work in hospitality and drinks, we just have it, and that is maybe the most ghetto strainer I've ever seen. So yeah, props to that.
Actually, I couldn't find my strainer. I was looking all over for it earlier on. Yeah. Also then, just for this, I'm just going to add just a simple orange twist.
Class.
Yeah, easy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I need a new knife. This one's on its last legs. Or get it sharpened. So this here, it is super kind of refreshing for the heat. Just so you've got your mango, your citrus, then with a bit of the yogurt in there as well. It's just a great cool down drink.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're at 40 minutes. We're kind of nearing the end of the time that we would normally aim for. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to fire them in. We'll stick around just for a wee second just to make sure that nobody's got any burning questions to ask myself or Greg. But obviously, Greg is signed in here as part hosting. So please feel free, if you don't already follow him, check his Instagram out, and especially check out the You Got Chef that you mentioned earlier. A couple of the links are further down your page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just check them on, just Google it, and it's the first thing that comes up. You Got Chef. Yeah.
What? Miles is asking, why don't you have a Y peeler?
I'm having to make do in my quarantine apartment at the moment, Miles. I'm also just showing people that you don't need those fancy things.
I don't think I've ever used a Y peeler to peel a slice of orange, apart from when I've covered shifts and they don't have paring knives, and I'll go in and I'll be like, "Where's your knife?" And they're like, "Oh, we just use peelers," and I'm a bit like, So yeah, that's probably a skill I really should have checked out. You can see Greg dance and You've Got Chef. Yeah, it's ace. It's really good. I would say that's probably the highlight.
Yeah, so for a bit of context for that, there is one of the guests is a guy called Nakul Mehta. So Nakul Mehta is from South India, which has its own kind of, again, in India, if you drive 2 hours, the language and the food changes.
Yeah.
So he's from South India, which has its own style of, say, like dance moves. So at the end of the episode, he says to Ranveer and he said, well, Ranveer, you've taught me this dish. Greg, you've taught me this cocktail. Why don't you do some South Indian dancing? So I was like, oh God. So obviously I couldn't say no. I had to do that. But the funny thing is there was about 20 people on set, say like the lighting, the editors, the camera, the sound, the makeup, the kitchen, all these people, they're all like, God, there's the Gora going to be doing dancing. So as I was doing it, the thought that was going through my head was, this is going to follow me around for the rest of my life.
I really hope so.
Yeah, the actual thought was, if I become famous one day, this will be what's shown when I'm on Graham Norton.
When you're on like Good Morning Britain, and like we've actually found an old video of you, and then bam.
Yeah. But
they also might find another video of you on YouTube, no? Under Greg Benson Whiskey.
Oh yeah, how to pronounce the distilleries of Scotland.
Yeah, that's my favorite Greg Benson video.
And on that note, just on before Hemant saying that I should dance, and no, Hemant, I'm not going to, because I would not want to devalue the brand. But I would say on that note, if we don't have any more comments, I think that we should.
Awesome.
Right.
Cheers.
So
Thank you.
Yep.
For coming on, Greg. Cheers.
We'll just run through the drinks once more, just for the people that have joined. Drink one for me, Calcutta Highball. Very, very simple. So citrus, then ginger, cinnamon, cardamom syrup, whiskey, topped with soda. Very, very easy. And then a mango lassi highball. So fresh mango pulp, dahi, Mozambique juice, whiskey, and then with a bit of sugar to balance. Very easy.
So I've got this is like a mango sticky rice version of a whiskey sort of mixer. So it's fresh mango, fresh coconut milk, and coconut water, all just blitzed together and left to sit, and then topped with a little bit of lemon and then a good helping of Dewar's White. And then we've also got this is sort of more citrus led, uses Thai oranges, which is sort of like a clementine, which you add to a little bit of galangal and chili to add a little bit of spice, and then just a dash of citrus, a dash of sugar, whiskey, soda. Super easy, super simple. I might remake them, take some pictures, and I'll pop the recipes up on Instagram as well. But yeah, thank you very much for joining.
Right, cheers. Thanks, Dan.
Cheers.
Cheerio, bye.